I'm making this report to point out a fact that we in the United States have probably been conned, and probably many other people around the earth. I made this assumption based on some dirty dozen acts. I will explain. I was a federal bank examiner for the FDIC. Later, I was investigating a murder there on my own as a freelance investigative journalist. I was forcibly injected, tortured, and forced to sign documents saying I was a criminal for owning a gun legally after I had been attacked in February of 2001 while running a test to see if murderers were associated with the FDIC. I did this because the prior boss there had been killed in his office. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation bank examiner's boss in San Francisco was killed in his office with his own gun, allegedly. The FBI and Secret Service decided it was a suicide. I say nonsense. They said I was attacked, and they said I was not attacked in February of 2001, that I was just insane. They injected me. That started my ordeal. I think of this as kismet. Kismet is like things that you can't help, that will become part of your life, that are your life and your future and your past. It's like a rut you're stuck in. You cannot help it. There's nothing you can do about it. I had a dream recently that I was speaking with someone that looked like God. Possibly wasn't God. He seemed very powerful. But he said, I'm going to get you out of here no matter what. And he also said, I'm going to take care of this kismet. Meaning, future time, past time, and time as it is now. The bomb that almost hit me alarmed me. That was in 2004. However, you must realize there's a dirty dozen to this kismet. I'm talking about military men who are tired of being kicked. When I was tortured in 2001, they gave me the number 911 as my middle number. They did that because they wanted people to know they had contacted the FBI, the Secret Service, and the police with no response. In February, after St. Valentine's Day 2001, after I had run a test to see if murderers were associated with the FDIC. They gave me the final number of 84. I think of George Orwell's 84, George Orwell's 1984, because the government has pretty much hogtied everyone. I think what had happened on other days, I'm talking about kismet still. I'm also talking about the dirty judge's effect. Regarding the bomb that almost hit me in December 7th, 2004, late night, Braman, Oklahoma, while I was traveling, it exploded on the side of the road with the impact of a nuclear bomb, a small nuclear, I wouldn't say nuclear, but I would say small arsenal. Most likely what I will call the Zhendong. I predict it might have been the size of a dirigible, meaning one of the blimps that used to be used in the United States and Europe. May have been that size. It was a very large blast, hundreds of yards off the road, in an open field bordering some pine trees. Whenever the blast went off, it blinded me for a second. I kept driving down the road at about 60 miles an hour on cruise control. I maintained course. I went blind for a second from the blast afterward. My eyes could not adjust quick enough to the light and into the dark. Then I drove through a cloud of debris that was like sand that hit my vehicle. Unfortunately, I did have my vents open. I hope I did not get cancer from radiation from that explosion. It seemed to be carrying a weapons load that exploded when it hit. It was hundreds of yards off the road. That's why I say this. I believe also that the names used for the men who were arrested in Oklahoma City and Wichita be Xu Chaofan and Xu Zhendong. And also another man was arrested in Los Angeles, Yu Zhendong. These were with the Bank of China out of Macau. They had allegedly brought $483 million into the USA, escaping from Macau in 2001. I say that allegedly. I do not believe much of what I see. I believe we have a Zhendong effect. When I think of Xu, I think of this guy here. Who is the smoking monkey? Who is the smoking monkey here? Xu and Xu. They made a monkey out of us. I do not believe everything that I hear, everything that I see. That's Xu and Xu in my mind. Xu and Xu and you. They made a monkey out of the American people. Someone's ripping off the American people, and I believe the Dirty Dozen effect has proven this. And that someone has given these people these names, because I will explain. Where I was hit with a bomb, almost hit with a bomb in Braman, Oklahoma, that is right in between. It is right in between Oklahoma City and Wichita. Here's Oklahoma City. Here's Wichita. Here's Braman right in the middle. You might notice that it is about 1/3. This is about a ratio of 1 to 2 in distance here. This is twice the distance from Braman to Oklahoma City as it is to Wichita. This is an important fact. I believe the message we were given, Xu and Xu, XU and XU, Xu Chaofan was in Oklahoma City. Xu Guojun was in Wichita. I will put links on this site to talk about this thing so you can see it easily. I'll put it on this video post as I get around to it. Xu and Xu. Xu and Xu. Now, Yu was in Los Angeles, way over there somewhere. Yu was an accomplice of this, but Xu and Xu were the big ones allegedly. $483 million US dollars allegedly brought in 2001. That was the same year Donna Tanal of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation stepped down. That was the same year I was injected and tortured at a federal facility and told to stop all investigations of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. It's hard to believe this has happened, but that's it. So I'm thinking of Xu and Xu and you as a mathematical something to think about. Here is X to X, Xu and Xu. The Y is up here in the sky. The U, Xu and Xu and you all have the last letter of U in their name. The U can mean many things. It can mean union, superset, intersection, or a unit vector. Unit vector would turn that Xu, Xu, and U equation into a three-dimensional form. Because the unit vector has a unit vector of 1 from here to here, unit vector of 2 from here to here, or maybe 3. Looks like 2 or 3. But I believe this is how they're doing this. What they're doing possibly is moving computer money around, such as the $483 million, moving it from one computer to another, maybe hiding things. This thing I'm calling the Zhendong, the Z-H-E-N-D-O-N-G, is what I will call this weapon or aircraft. I think it'd be used in financial manipulations in peacetime, and it's a tool of war in wartime. It's like the super genius of weaponries. How far it is up into space is anybody's guess. Could it be done from a tower from Los Angeles? Most certainly. If you have it bouncing off a radar or satellites somewhere, and possibly even taking over other people's satellites to beam the image down and to beam the data, alternating data patterns and such, to be able to take money. Let me see here. The federal judge gave me the number 9. The federal judge, federal judge in Nevada has actually persecuted or sent Xu Chaofan and Xu Guojun to prison. That's a federal judge in Nevada. Yu Zhendong was sent back to China to allegedly be over to serve time. I doubt it, because I don't believe half what I see. This is a game, folks. In addition, I believe the Oklahoma City bombing, which was on April 19th, 1995, was a ruse. Timothy McVeigh was a young man, allegedly. I do not believe he was involved in this. I think somehow he was used, his name, his picture, his face. I do not believe he had anything to do with the Oklahoma City bombing. I think what happened was somebody in Oklahoma City caught the computers being hacked. They might have caught onto the Zhendong, as I call it, the Zhendong aircraft, and the building was blown up before anybody could relay data. That's my theory on this. Once again, this is Kismet. Kismet is just something you cannot help.
Kismet. Kismet. Kismet.
Yeah, Kismet 3 times for you. This is just an aircraft out of China, but if you multiply this by about 4 to 50 times and put about 2,000 more times sophisticated electronics, this is how it pictures a Zhendong being way up in space. However, I do not think it would have wings like an aircraft. I think it would be more like a blimp or dirigible or something of that sort. It's hard to say. I'm considering something extremely sophisticated. This is a $482 million scam they pulled off with Zhu and Yu of the Bank of China. Allegedly. I think it came out of somewhere else, possibly out of the United States currency's pockets. Possibly moving money around from other banks. I do believe that you can basically pirate or hijack people's computer systems with the technology that I am describing, if you have the satellites or the technology to do so. Here's the OKC Federal Building before it was blown up. The Oklahoma City Federal Building. Many people were killed in this unnecessarily, and I think that Timothy McVeigh did not do the damage. Oh man. Boo boo. Timothy McVeigh did not do the damage that they said. Anyway, as you can see, FDIC Board of Directors, I have a sense of humor about things. I do believe that if we ever catch these people, that they will have a second hit for us. This is like a convoluted weapon because they might be able to do mind control. I have a sense of humor. This is my Sweet Carol Day badge. Sweet Carol and I, we're very close. I wear here on my fancy sunglasses so that people will know when we're coming. I do have a sense of humor. Ha, ha, ha. On June 11th, 2001, they executed Timothy McVeigh. On June 11th, 2001, I was being told, while in a bus in LA, chained up, likely by a federal agent, sitting next to me who was pretending to be a convict or something. He told me they were doing experiments on veterans in Los Angeles, killing them. I had been forcibly injected at the Los Angeles VA in Westwood before I was being toted around and carted around. It was primarily Asians at the hospital. However, we cannot know who's in charge of these things. After all, it was many people who persecuted me, including the man who was a judge, who looked more Nordic. Or something of that sort, at least European. $1 million bail. And I was given a chance to run it one time after he told me that $1 million bail, ironically. The Dirty Dozen at work. They were going to allow me to run, but I was afraid I'd get shot by someone. So I did not run. Hindsight, I probably should have, but this is Kismet. I accept my fate. Zhu's fraud allegedly went to 1991 at the Bank of China in Macau. 1991 was approximately the same time the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation boss in San Francisco had his brains blown out by his own gun. I would go to work there in 1999 and basically saw mob boss activities and things of that sort, but you can never be certain. Like I said, the Zhendong can run computers, can run time. They can change Kismet possibly. Any limit is your imagination, is the only limit I can see. These may be some extremely intelligent people, large groups of them working on these projects. Xu and Zhu came into the United States in 2001. They were arrested allegedly in September of 2004. The bomb almost hit me in Braman, Oklahoma on December 7th, 2004. So when they were in September 2004, they were arrested in Wichita and Braman. I was almost hit that same year in December. No, they were arrested in Wichita and Oklahoma City in 2004 at Xu and Zhu, and I was almost hit in Braman, which is in the middle, in 2004 in December. Let's see here. So that's about it for this time. 15 minutes. I might have went too far. This is Kurt Brown, alias St. Rambon. Wishing you well. Give me a job, FDIC Board of Directors, Treasury. I do believe the Wachovia Bank was ripped off too in the same fashion. There's no telling what's going on. Beware of the Zhendong. It's new, it's high tech, and if you see it falling from the sky, you better get clear because it's carrying armed weaponry. I witnessed that one personally, sweet Carol. FDIC Board of Directors, give me a job, baby. You hurt me. You gave me a stroke. And I want my job. I'm struggling out here. I don't even have health care other than that VA stuff. You can't expect me to do that after those men were killed and I was tortured. Look at this. This is the only sunglasses I got. I mean, it's pretty sad, you know? How about it, sweet Carol? Kurt Brown, alias St. Rambon, Mobile Audit Club, Mobile Audit Club, Mobile Audit Club, Mobile Audit Club.